Today we're going to look at how to get one of these. This is a Chinese temporary driving license. If you ever want to go to China, drive some EVs or regular ICE cars if that's what you're into. And I'm going to show you step by step how to get one of these, because in China right now, you're not able to drive on your home license and you're not able to drive on an international license either. So the only way is to get a temporary Chinese license, and then you can rent a car, drive around China, and just see how driving is in one of the most populous countries in the world. And trust me, it's something. Before going any further, you need to download two apps. Number one is WeChat, and number two is Alipay. WeChat is also a communication tool. You're going to need that a little bit later. It is used for payments, same as what Alipay is, but Alipay is only exclusive to payments. Now, to go further and actually use it on a daily basis, I prefer Alipay, and I'll tell you at the end of the video why that is. Now, after you've set up your Alipay and WeChat, the next step is always to have a SIM card for China. So I suggest getting one as you cross the border in Shenzhen railway station. There are some shops there. You can walk up and they'll sell you one. If you can't get it there, airport in Shenzhen sells it. It's within the city, so it's not too far. You can go there and buy one. There are some other places in Shenzhen. You can Google that, where to buy. One is Lohu, which is like a shopping center right at the border with Hong Kong. There are also options in Hong Kong to purchase one. I haven't done any of those things. I only had an eSIM that I used because my wife has a Chinese phone number, so that was simple. If you want and get one, yeah, sure. eSIM's enough because you'll be able to use your data and stuff to navigate around the city and pay for stuff, right? But it's always nice to have a phone number because you will need it later on in this process. But don't worry if you don't have one, because I'll tell you a little trick later how to get around the phone number issue. This guide is only for the city of Shenzhen simply because that's where I did it. I'm not sure how it's done in Shanghai or Beijing or other places in China. I also did it there because that's where most people will probably get it, because many people fly into Hong Kong from other parts in the world, also from Asia, right? So I wanted to go to the place where I think most people would do it. Plus, Shenzhen being a slightly different place in China, it's kind of a special economic zone. They do things a little bit differently. It's a little bit easier. And as you guys can see, the procedure was very, very simple. So again, this is only for the city of Shenzhen, nowhere else. So now let's start with the document checklist. So the first thing you will need to bring with you when you're doing this is your passport. We'll put it up there. That's very important because they're going to be not only checking your passport, but they're also going to be checking your Chinese visa. That's very important because your temporary license will only be valid for as long as your visa is valid. Now, my visa is a different kind of visa. It's 2 years. So my temporary license is valid actually for 2 years, which isn't so temporary, right? But for example, if you only come on a tourist visa and it's 30 or 60 days, that is how long your driving permit is going to be valid for. That's important to remember. Second thing is your home driving license. You do not need to get a translation into an international license simply because, again, it's not useful in China. So you're going to be, spending money on nothing. So make sure you just have your regular home license with you. That's all you need. Third thing, pictures. So now, pictures, you don't need to do that before you leave your home country. You can get it done very cheaply within 5 to 10 minutes at the very police station where you're going to be doing your application anyways, and it's way cheaper. So you just get it there and don't bother getting it anywhere else. You can just go down, and I'll show you guys on a picture where it is, and get it done at the police station in Shenzhen. The most important piece of the whole puzzle, though, is the translation of your home license, which needs to be done in China by a Chinese licensed translator. That's very important. Don't get it translated somewhere else because it might not work. They want to see a translation done at a local translation office. Don't worry, I did the legwork for you because it's hard to find a good translation office in Shenzhen. So I'm going to put the phone number down of the translation office that I used without issue. So feel free to reach out to them. Obviously, their translation office, they speak English. They'll be able to then send you all of the details that they need. So now, when you do the translation, you will have to actually pay for it before it's done. I know it's kind of weird, but don't worry, they're pretty good about it. So I'm not going to cheat you and all of that. The translation, when I did it, was around 150 Chinese yuan. I'll put it into US dollars here. So not too expensive. And then again, WeChat comes into play because that's how you're going to be sending them money. They'll send you a QR code, you scan that, and then you send money to them. Now, when you go and pick up the translation, they're going to give you a copy of their business license as well as a license to be a licensed translator, right? Which is important. So they're going to give you a copy of this so you can show it to the government if necessary. It wasn't necessary for me, but it's good that I had it. Simply because it's better to have something more than needing it and having to go back. Then, of course, you will also receive the translation itself. I'm not going to show you how it looks right now because it has all my personal details. But what I'll try to do is just take a picture and then show you what the translation looks like here, and I'll remove some of my personal details like address and so on, just so you see and you can compare to what I got if you do it yourself. The police office opens at 9 a.m. and you need to be there at 9 a.m. just in case it's a lot of people. The translation office opens at 8:30, which again, perfect synergy, right? You go to the translation office, you pick up the translation, and then you go to the police station to get your license. Simple as that. Now, again, I suggest you use the Chinese version of Uber, which is Didi, to get around before you get your license. It's just easier and faster. So then, after you get your translation picked up, take a Didi and go to the government office. Now, where's the government office? Again, I did the work for you. I'm going to put a link to a Google Maps listing for that very office. Now, many things are on Google Maps in China, unfortunately, but this office, thankfully, is. I guess because a lot of foreigners go there and they have a presence on Google. Now, obviously, in China, Google Maps is not going to help you, so make sure you take a screenshot of this place as well as the address, and then you can use Baidu Maps, which is the mapping system in China, to actually get there. So now, you arrive at the office, and I told you you need your picture taken, right? So I told you, don't do it anywhere else, do it there. So the building is huge, and it's got these stairs going up to the second floor. That is where you will get your license. But before you go up the stairs, when you're facing the building head on, look towards your right-hand side and go around the stairs. I'll put up a picture of what it looks like once you get past the stairs. And inside there are guys taking pictures for you. It costs 10 yuan, Chinese yuan. I'll put it up here in US dollars to have the exact size pictures in whatever spec the office upstairs needs it. So there's no worry that they're going to be rejected. And again, if you get it somewhere else, there might be, right? So save yourself time, money, headache, do it there. And they are ready in 5 minutes. So again, as you walk in, go towards the right-hand side, look for this picture, go in there and say you want a photo. And they will help you. In China, people are pretty good at speaking a little bit of English if they can't speak, so then just put up a translation on your phone and they'll know exactly what you want. You have your translation, you have your passport with the Chinese visa inside, you have your home license, and now hopefully you have your pictures done, okay? So with all of these things, now you go up these grandeur stairs to the second floor of this massive building. You're going to have to go through metal detectors. They're going to check your bags simply because it is a police office. It's a government office, right? When you walk in, you'll be overwhelmed. Trust me, we walked in, we were overwhelmed. There's just so many windows, so many people. There is an information booth and all of that. And you're like, where do I go next? But now, follow this and you don't even have to worry. So you walk in through the main door and then go towards the left right away. Look for window 1. Window 1. But it's not really a window. It's just 2 police officers sitting behind this huge desk. Walk up to them, show them all your paperwork, and say you want to get a temporary Chinese license. I'll put it down in Chinese what that is, So then in the description, you guys can just show that, and then they will know exactly what you want. They'll take all your documents, check that you have everything necessary. They'll check it over, and then they will give you a little piece of paper for which you will go to a little terminal by the entrance where you just walked in, remember, through the metal detectors and all of that. There's usually a lady there, a young lady who speaks a little English, and then she can help you. So you just show that piece of paper with a number. She'll input the number into that little queuing system, and then she will give you a paper, and then you can go and sit in the waiting room and look at the numbers, okay, because they don't really sound them out, or there's no dings or whatever. So you just have to look at the numbers, the sequences, and see if it matches. If it does, it will show you exactly which station you're supposed to go to and go take all your documents there. So now that you've done all that, you're waiting, boom, your number gets called, you know, let's say station 22. You walk up to this nice young lady. You show all your paperwork to her. She knows what you want, okay? Trust me. We walked up and there was no question. She takes all your paperwork, goes through everything, inputs into her computer, asks you a few pictures, a few questions, takes your picture with her camera as well. So that's a different kind of picture. I guess because they just need to know that you were there and it's you and actually you getting the license for yourself and all that, which I can understand. Then you have to sign a bunch of forms. And the most important thing here during this whole thing, they're going to ask you, hey, do you have a Chinese name? And then you say, well, should I have one? And then she's like, yeah. So basically, also, one of the things that you need to prepare, and it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't have to be like your real name or whatever. Choose a Chinese name that sounds very similar to your name. Again, put it into Google Translate, your name in English, and then whatever it comes out in Chinese characters, just give that to her. It doesn't really matter because on Chinese licenses, it's only the Chinese name. It's not your English name. So there you go. Make sure you have one of those. And then after she has your Chinese name, she will ask you for another thing. And this is, I'll go back to the, beginning of the video. She's going to ask you for a Chinese phone number. So now, if you have one, like what I said, you can just get it at the border when you're crossing from Hong Kong into China. You can get it in Hong Kong as well. But if you don't have one, you can just put down your hotel's phone number. They're not going to check. They're not going to be calling anybody. So just when you're staying at a hotel in Shenzhen, make sure you write down their phone number and then use it. If you use any booking apps, they'll have that phone number there. Don't worry, they are not calling anybody. They just need it because it's one of the things on the list. So if you didn't get a SIM card or you're using an eSIM that doesn't have actually telephone capabilities, hotel phone number is fine. Now comes the most exciting part. Is when she tells you it's all done and you need to pay your fee to get the license issued. Now, for me in Canada, to get a license issued, it's like $100, I think it was. In China, it's 10 yuan. I'll put it up here in US dollars, how much that is. So it's peanuts, all right? And this is, again, going back to step one, right? Remember? I said, make sure you have your payment systems ready. So your WeChat or your Alipay, she's going to ask you to pay through that. That's super important. And it's 10 yuan. She's going to give you a QR code. You scan it, you pay the money, done. If you don't know how to figure it out, scan it, give it to her. She'll do it and you'll pay the money, right? So once it's paid, she will then put that into the system that has been paid. And then she will tell you to go sit outside in the waiting room again, watching her little terminal, so sit close where you can actually see her, and when it's ready, she will just motion to you to come up and pick it up. So you paid your fees, you're sitting, you're relaxing, you're watching the lady that just helped you intently because she's going to have your license ready soon, right? So she motions for you to go in. So you go in, she gives you the license, you sign a little piece of paper. Sometimes they need it, sometimes they don't, just to make sure that you received it, and you're done. And that's it. When I went there and I had everything ready, it took us 1 hour and 15 minutes with pictures and everything. So imagine that you arrive there at 9 a.m., okay? And you get everything done by 10:15, 10:30 at the latest. And you can drive in China. So go rent a car. I don't know. Go drive your friend's car if you have friends in China. Enjoy yourself. It is one of the simplest things to do. And if you are traveling to China and you want to drive, it doesn't matter what kind of car, honestly. Go and do it. It's nice, it's simple, and it gives you the freedom to move as you want to move. So there you go. Simple, easy, and now you have a temporary license to drive in China. So go out there and explore the country. Now, I did promise you guys to say why I prefer Alipay as opposed to WeChat for payments and other things in China, because it has an awesome feature that translates every page that you open from Chinese to English, which is super valuable. So, for example, like from my case, when I went to charge my EV that I rented, all of the mini programs within Alipay were in Chinese. And then I could just open it up, click translate, and it would translate everything into English. So it was so much easier to navigate, put money in, charge my car, and all of that. So definitely start using Alipay when you get to China. That is my preferred method. It's accepted everywhere that WeChat is, and it just makes your life so much easier. So definitely go for that one and enjoy your trip more. Now, let's use Alipay as a segue to actually how do you rent a car in China? Now, that's an interesting topic. So, if you guys would like me to do a follow-up video about how to actually rent a car, an EV or a traditional ICE car in China, not sure why you would want to do that, because China is the leader of electric cars right now and they have some awesome cars to drive. But anyways, you do you, right? As the kids say. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll put together a quick video showing you how to do that. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with friends and family that want to go to China, rent a car, and want to get a temporary Chinese driving license to be able to drive in that country. And if you have any questions regarding the whole procedure, post it down below, and I'll be very happy to answer. All right, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.